You're listening to Real Talk Texas on 570 KLIF News and Information. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert Steve Hakes.
Good morning. This is Real Talk Texas, a forum where we talk about what's going on in DFW, and this is KLIF 570 AM. I'm Alicia Trevino, filling in for Steve Hakes, who is on vacation, a well-deserved vacation. I don't know if you guys remember, he was on the Triumph and got stuck, so his wife was like, take me on vacation again. So here I am filling in for him, and I also have in studio a real expert in the industry, and that is
Kristian Peterson.
It's a good thing you said it because I almost forgot. I only see you every day. Kristian Peterson is actually my office manager, and I am a real estate expert in the Dallas area. I have an office in Uptown and one in Mesquite, and we're here to talk about real estate in Uptown today. And Kristian Peterson has been so kind to come in studio with me. Let me tell you a little bit about Kristian. He has a bachelor's of business administration from Texas A&M. In 1982, woohoo! Got his real estate license right after in 84. Spent about 5 years in residential appraising and began selling in Uptown Turtle Creek in 1990. He got his broker's license in 94 and ran a boutique agency in high-rises, so I'm going to assume that he knows his stuff about high-rises. And he has been a top producer for 15 years. And he is, of course, the executive director of operations for my Uptown office. I'm really excited to have him here. And he has been such a gem. He is what we call an all-around real estate guru. Thanks for coming in, Kristian.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, what I want to talk about is kind of the history of Uptown. You know, Uptown has really taken off this year, but I know it's not brand new. It may be brand new to some, but you've been here for a long time. Can you give me some history of what you've seen changed in the last few years?
I can. It's been interesting. I originally moved to Uptown probably 25 years ago. When I moved into the Uptown area, there were only 7 high-rise buildings. There were 2 other real estate brokers that were really servicing the high-rise community. I decided I was going to put my money where my mouth is. I bought a high-rise condo, and I was going to sell what I live. So I decided there was going to be 3 high-rise agents. It was really interesting at the time. Like I said, there were only 7 buildings. And for the most part, we would run waiting lists of people that wanted to buy. So when a unit would come up for sale, because there was such little inventory, you know, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, we always had people waiting to buy. We knew what they wanted, what units, what building. And so real estate moved really well on the Turtle Creek corridor. Then probably in the mid to late 80s, we saw a new building boom take place, and they built probably 4 or 5 more buildings.
Where was that? Where did they start building in the 80s?
They built the Claridge that sits in the middle of Lemon Avenue at Turtle Creek.
There were quite a few. I mean, I know that there's some huge differences between the ones that are located on Turtle Creek. And I think when people think high-rises, they think, well, the only place that I know where there's high-rises is on Turtle Creek. But there's a whole bunch of new ones coming up that are on McKinney. And one that was built in the 80s. Wasn't there one that was built on McKinney in the 80s? Which one is that?
Well, there was a rental building that was built on McKinney in the mid-'80s. And actually, it's the one that has a sports bar in the bottom now. And it was really one of the first buildings where they tried using a mixed-use development, where they had rentals on the top 22 floors, and then down on the street level, they had put in a dry cleaners, a restaurant, and a bar. And they were starting that kind of new urbanism lifestyle that started coming about in Uptown and Turtle Creek.
And that's really was ahead of their time because, you know, nobody really wanted to buy into that. And now we're starting to see that in all areas.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's something that's really interesting and has changed. Well, you know, now we're going to dance in studio, too. Got caught with your phone on. Anyway, so talking about having the retail space on the bottom, which has become really, really popular. And I live in a high-rise now, and I absolutely love that I can just walk down the stairs, go into a restaurant, and actually walk home, and that I have the park right down the street from me. So it is actually urban living. It is so convenient. So we're seeing that in more and more buildings. But some of the older buildings, like say the ones over on the Turtle Creek area, that's more of a lifestyle building. It's more, a very private building with security and valet. So if you were going to think about buying a home in a high-rise, describe to me what you see on Turtle Creek, what you can expect.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting. When I get a client that calls me and says they're interested in high-rise living, I do have a couple of questions because high-rise living is a lifestyle, but there are numerous lifestyles that fall within that also. Some people want to live in a high-rise because they want the freedom of not having to do any maintenance, not having to worry about their property. I would say probably 40% of the people that live on Turtle Creek have second homes. So they're only here in Dallas seasonally. They can lock their front door. They can go away for 6 months, and they don't have to worry. I mean, somebody's always there. If a pipe breaks, it gets fixed. If there's a leak, it gets taken care of. You can literally, it's almost like living in a hotel. I mean, you lock the door, you walk away, and somebody else is watching your life for you. So it gives you that freedom to be able to get away.
As a realtor working down here, I know that that women love to live in these high-rise buildings for the protection of it. You have security. You always know who's coming up. You always get announced. So if you're someone who's really thinking about changing a lifestyle and you find yourself single and, you need somewhere where you feel really protected, a high-rise is like the perfect place for you. You can get a 1-1. At about what price point do you think? I know it depends a lot on the building, but let's say if you're looking on Turtle Creek, and some people think this is just untouchable, but I know a 1-1 on Turtle Creek starts at about how much?
You can actually probably start as low as $95,000 right now.
Can you believe that? That's amazing. Now, you do have HOA fees, which we're going to get into in the next segment after the break, but the HOA fees include a lot of things in some of these buildings. So
any building that was built before 1981 is going to have all of the utilities included in the HOA.
Right. And I think it's really important that we talk about that, the different ages of the different, properties and what's included and what isn't and the difference between the two. Because I will tell you personally, I absolutely love living in a high rise and I never saw myself there. I really didn't think that I would love it as much as I do, but you definitely convinced me, girl, you need to move into a high rise. And so I'm really glad that I did. So I really feel like I can talk about it and say, and recommend it to someone wholeheartedly. And so can you, right? So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the HOAs. This is Real Talk Texas, talking with Kristian Peterson. If you'd like to talk to me personally about buying a condo, please call me at 214-876-4567, or you can email me at alicia@aliciatrevino.com. This is Real Talk Texas, 570 AM, KLIF.